Jesse.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to the f***ing Elephant Show. Yo, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining Chris and I. Thanks for being here, guys. Dude, Chris, every time I see that intro, dude, I'm like, yes! That just, oh, man, it just gets me so freaking amped, man. I love it. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, same here. Same here. Amazing, man. Amazing. Literally in the process of stopping the auction, so I'm super excited about that for the seller. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Pretty excited.
Bro, it's been an eventful week for us, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Super,
how's your day
busy.
going?
Good.
Well, actually,
good.
it's early morning for you, actually. I keep forgetting you're 4 hours behind us.
It's about 9:30, yeah. Yeah. It's early enough to stop an auction, or it's late enough to stop an auction. Super Mario, dude, how you doing, bro? Thanks for being here, man. Freaking love you, bro. Hope everybody's having a fantastic start to the weekend.
Amazing,
Chris, I think there's a little delay in
again
our interwebs.
I can't win.
It's that pesky landlord, bro. Who do these investors think they are messing with your internet?
Right. Absolutely.
And said about that.
Well, I just want to say thank you again for all you guys being here more. So again, we're streaming from all different platforms. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, and also StreamYard. So we're all over the place. More so, if you're one of those channels, make sure you're squatting up and getting to know each other. More so working together, JVing. And you never know, your next private money lender may be your next communication. You just never know, right?
Talk about coming in here and being intentional. Now, guys, we've got a really special guest that we've known for, how long have we known each other? Maybe going on like 6 months now, 5-6 months, maybe somewhere in that ballpark, I think, since when we first met, somewhere in there. And man, this has just been phenomenal. I'm really excited. We're going to get really deep into lending today. We've got a private money lender that's coming on. We're going to talk all things lending. We're going to talk about things from the lender's perspective, what they're looking for, and we're going to be talking about things from a borrower's perspective, how to approach and how to find private money lenders, the do's and don'ts of all things, building relationships and all that kind of fun stuff. So stay tuned. Real quick, while we are here, sorry, I got something that popped up on my screen. There we go. Took care of it. If you guys are getting value from this show, if you guys are getting any sort of value from this, it's a completely free show. Chris and I absolutely love doing this. We need to have like some sponsors on here or something, Chris, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? I literally just thought, like, I literally just, dude, if you guys got something you want to be sponsored on here, like let Chris and I know. Like, how can we work together? How many ways can we make money together, man? This would be awesome. But as right now, the show is completely free and we love doing this. And hopefully you guys are getting value from it. The only thing that we ask is please share it with somebody. Please screenshot it, share it, tag somebody who you think might get value from it. That's the only thing that we ask. Hope you guys appreciate the sincerity. Hope you guys appreciate the authenticity. Occasionally, there might be an F-bomb or two dropped, but it's all out of love. But we got a very special guest here today. Let's bring on Miss Julie Burkhardt. How are you doing, Julie?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me on. This is something I wanted to talk about for a while. And so I thought, wow, who better to talk about it with than two people I know, like, and trust.
Well, we appreciate it. Likewise, this will be super fun. I was hoping you were going to come on with like your Black Sabbath T-shirt or something.
Whenever I hear that music, I'm like, I think of Beavis and Butthead going.
Maybe our intro, we should have changed it to Iron Man or Paranoid by Black Sabbath or something. So do you listen to Ozzy Osbourne? Are you an Ozzy fan at all? Like you don't listen to that music anymore?
I don't, that's really not. That's really not my. I've never really liked that kind of music, and that was so funny that you posted that. What was your first concert? And that was mine. But like I said, I was probably not so much there. Other than "Don't Fear the Reaper" was the song at the time, so that's why. Blue Oyster Cult. That was probably more than Black Sabbath. So yeah. So it was the Black and Blue tour back in the day. Well, you'll have to Google that and see.
Julie, have you ever seen The Waterboy?
I'm not giving that up. No.
You've never seen The Waterboy?
You haven't? Oh wow.
Okay, never mind. No.
I feel like there's a little bit of delay on Julie's end too.
You're talking about the movie?
So there's a scene in there where what's his name? Henry Winkler. What's his real? The Fonz. He plays in there, and he's talking to Adam Sandler, and he's got a tattoo of Roy Orbison on like one of his butt cheeks. And he's like, "What Mama doesn't know won't hurt her." And it just when you sent me that message yesterday, and you were talking about your first concert being Black Sabbath and just everything going on, I bet Julie's got a tattoo of Ozzy Osbourne on her left ass. I know it.
I'll never tell.
I love it. Well,
so
Chris,
I do want to
go ahead, bro.
I'm seeing a couple of things right here. So I just want to let you guys know we do stream every Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of people get that very confused. We are on Eastern time zone. I know a lot of people are all over the place. Jesse has his own time zone. I believe Julie, I'm not for sure if you're traveling or what that looks like. So more so just always
I'm on Mountain Time right now.
There you go. Perfect example right there. That's a good question though, and more so, Julie, I'm super excited about today. You have no idea.
Ooh.
I was actually, I think Jesse, I was talking about it last night, like more so like we're super excited.
We've been talking about it all week.
Yeah. And we're just the knowledge and the value that you're going to provide to just everyone. It's going to be surreal. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to sit back and relax and just literally let you, drop your nuggets and gems and all that good stuff. And a lot of people really need.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, just disclaimer. I am not providing financial advice. And you have to do your own due diligence. All of that.
We're not attorneys at law, guys. But more so, though, super.
No financial
excited.
or legal advice is being dispensed here today. So just remember that.
There you go. Mike, it's great to see you in here. Definitely, he said definitely need some private money lenders. Yeah, 100%. There's always lenders around you. It's just more so, although they're a lender, Julie's going to break it down exactly what that looks like on both ends. Build their relationship and more so understand what they're really looking for. And every lender is different. Don't think every single lender is the same. So, yeah, I'm super excited, super pumped. Exactly. Glad you're here.
Okay, well, Chris
guys,
just told you everything you need to know right there.
That's very funny.
Okay, we're done.
But yeah, guys, I'm sorry for the delay. The internet is really bad. I've been trying for almost 3 to 4 weeks now. I think it's probably been 4 weeks. I've been trying to get my internet to just fix itself. I just can't be great over here. But more so, Julie, I'm gonna let you take it away.
Okay, awesome. Well, like I said, I'm not the expert. I'll just say that right now. I'm going to be talking about my experiences and what I've learned from that. I'm not. I haven't been doing private money lending for a long time. I basically started doing it a few months after I got into sub 2, so I really have not been in that space for a long time.
Well, how do you decide if you want to be a private money lender?
Well, I guess for me, I really want. So I'll just back up and start from my story a little bit. I really have wanted to get into real estate for a long time, and you know, we've owned real estate, we've done rentals here and there, a little bit of different types of real estate. We've sold things on seller finance, so you know, we understand that part of things. And I just really struggled with, do I really want to be a landlord again? And I'm in a different stage in my life, and that's quite likely what a lot of private money lenders are, is they're in a place where they may not want to necessarily jump in and start a business. So that's something that I've kind of been you know, struggling with a little bit, is how do I want to eat this elephant? So for me, the elephant is I really want to own real estate, but or I want to make money from real estate, but I don't necessarily want a lot of the headaches of ownership and scaling a business that goes along with that. So and so part of being a private money lender is knowing yourself, and so it's taken me a little bit to understand that. So when I my husband and I have actually loaned money to people before, but it's been people that we know. So that is like rule number one, is it's the relationship, and it's, you know, you want to build relationships with your borrowers. You want to build a relationship with someone who's potentially your lender.
So Julie,
so why do I want to loan to somebody? It has to be somebody that what Pace always say, it's got to be somebody that you know, like, and trust. And how do you do that? You have to get to know somebody first. So anyway, you were gonna ask something.
Yeah, no, just right along with what you were saying. So you wouldn't recommend people just reaching out to you over Messenger and saying, "Hey, Julie, I've got a deal in Florida. I need 40 grand."
Right. Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for most people. I mean, that I know of anyway.
Just, hey, I need your money.
Hey, I heard you're a private money lender. Okay, do I know you? Have we ever even talked on the phone? You know, like Pace always says, you know, did we date first before we get married?
Yeah.
We haven't even held hands. I mean, come on. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, so it's very much about the relationship, because, you know, it's taken us a long time to build what we have. And so we're not just going to hand it over to somebody who we don't know them. We don't know what their business model is. We don't know that they know what they're doing, those kind of things. And so there's kind of what I like to call the kind of the lending rules. And this is not something that I made up. This is something I probably plagiarized from somewhere, but I've kind of massaged it a little bit to fit, you know, what I think. But rule number one is protect yourself and your money. You know, you're just not going to hand it over to somebody that you don't even know.
So how do you go about protecting yourself and your money? Like, what does that look like? What do you mean specifically when you say that? Like,
well, the number one is so number one is the relationship. Do I know this person? Do I believe that they have some business savvy? Have they been doing this for a while? Do they know when they're buying properties and doing whatever their business model is, whether they're fix and flipper or whether they're doing Airbnb, whatever the case is, does that fit with what I am comfortable with? And you know, I'll say right off the bat that probably every single loan that I've done thus far has had glitches. Some of them are quite major hiccups. So I'll just say that it's not all sunshine and roses, and the private money lender is whistling all the way to the bank, because there's some things, but I've learned from that. I've learned what I should have done differently, what I could have done better, and what's really out of my control. Sometimes, who could have predicted that the fix and flip market was just going to go,
Right.
in such a hurry? And there's people got caught in that. And so that's another piece of it, is the person that you're doing business with should have an alternate exit strategy. And that's something that you should have discussions about. Like, so what, yes, I'm planning to do this, but if that doesn't work, what's plan B? Is there a plan B? So that's a big
Absolutely.
one. And the way people say, well, how do I get somebody to know, like, and trust me? Well, and this is something that Pace talks about a lot, and other people, is talk about your projects. You see the people that are going out and say, hey, we did this deal and we got this deal done, and those kind of things. And that is what people see. They see what you're doing and they go, oh, okay, this person seems like they know what they're doing. But that's only one piece of it. It's not like, okay, they posted their stuff on Instagram and yeah, it looks like they're doing all this stuff. You really need to know that they really do know what they're doing. And
absolutely.
And I hate to say it, but it takes some experience. People, yeah, even if you're new, you can use what you're doing to build up your credibility and your exposure, so people see what you're doing. Get out there and talk about
absolutely.
it. So
absolutely.
So those are the biggies: the relationship, and let people know what you're doing. So those are two things right off the bat. Other lending
to go
rules,
along with that,
there's a few here.
To go along with that, Julie, because we were talking about this a little bit last night. Chris and I went live for a little bit. We saw you last night. Thanks for jumping in. But we were
jumped in
about,
at the minute, at last minute.
Building those relationships, right? And so one of the things that Chris and I did when we first started our business 6-7 months ago was it was all focused on relationships. That was the entire point. For like 4 or 5 months straight, we did 30 to 40 hours a week of just one-on-one Zooms with people. So think about that for a second. We started a brand new business in June 1st. And our first priority, we knew that how big relationships were in the real estate game. And if we wanted to do this fast, and if we wanted to go far, we needed to have those relationships in place. And so one of the things that we ended up doing was we created a Calendly. And we time blocked maybe 5 or 6 hours every single day. And it was the same time every single day, guys. That's why Chris and I and Colin were all able to stay so consistent. So think about this, guys. 30 to 40 hours a week in just one-on-one Zooms with people, just an hour long. And it wasn't all like in one. It wasn't like a 9 to 5, like we're just on Zooms, I mean, they were from 4 in the morning, again at 7 in the morning, and then again at 11 in the morning, and then again at 3 in the morning, then another one at 5 or 3 in the morning in the afternoon, but then again at 5 again in the afternoon. And it allowed us enough time to where we could stay consistent in building those relationships with people. And at the same time, in between, we could take care of other parts of our business. We had the time to call and follow up with sellers and title companies and do TC work and talk to buyers and all that other kind of fun stuff. But we were consistent. And so we talked to maybe between 30 and 40 people every single week. So guys, that was well over 100 people every single month. So think about that. What could you do with 100 people, 100 new people that you're meeting every single month? And guys, that's where we met Julie. We met Julie on one of those. We took the time to foster and build those relationships. It's so stinking important. Hey, I know this guy.
I know this guy.
Yeah, it's much more than Colin. Yeah, it's much more than just DMing somebody and saying, or send them a Facebook request. I mean, I've probably got 300 of those things sitting out on my, my Facebook friend requests, and I'm like, I much prefer at least a quick note. I mean, and I try to do that, and I'm guilty too. I have friend requests because that person I've been seeing them pop up, whatever. But yeah, I mean, a little quick note is always a lot. It goes a lot farther than just 900 friend requests. I don't know what to do with it.
No, I agree 1,000% on that. And more so one thing that stands out to me, Julie, how do you feel about when people reach out to you and they have no Facebook profile, no kind of nothing, and they're looking for some kind of lending? What does that look like for you?
Or their Facebook profile is like a lion, and it's not even of them.
Delete.
There you go.
I do the same thing. Guys, if you got nothing else so far from this freaking video, change your guys' profile picture, because the people that are doing business, who people who do business with? People who do business. And people who do business don't have random shit as their profile picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last six
honestly, that's what I do. I'm like, I go and look. Yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, and I get it. Some people have a separate one for their family and friends and their business. I get that, but still, it's a little suspect, and you just kind of go, no. For me, that's like, no, that's letting the fox into the hen house or something. I don't know. Just no reason for it in my world. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but
let me change my profile.
I wanna know, like my sub 2 people, right? Oh, was that you?
That is hilarious, Daryl.
Yeah, but I just Daryl. Oh, funny. But yeah, I mean, I check. I mean, I do check because these days you don't know, and
absolutely.
And there's so many people. I really kind of sometimes don't want to even say that I do private money lending, because I get barraged with stuff, and it's just like, most of the time I'll just say, and it's true, most of the time I'll say, well, my capital is out right now, and I can't help you, but thanks for thinking of me, but I can't do it right now. But that's also just a nice way of saying, I don't know you, and I'm probably not going to lend to you.
Right. Well, one of the things Chris and I have been doing in our business when it comes to working with private money lenders is we want like Third Mind to be kind of the face of that. So when people I think everybody who follows us knows that we do a little bit of everything.
Right.
I mean, not even a little bit. We do a lot of everything. We literally do everything. But if somebody needs lending, they can come to Third Mind. And then we, on the backside, have a bunch of private money lenders that we work with. So if somebody's like, hey, I need private money lending for $10,000 or $50,000, whatever that is, and what can you guys do for me? Chris and I can be the face of that and turn around and say, hey, here's our private money lenders. Does this fit what you guys are trying to do? That way, you don't have people bombarding you. We're taking the brunt of that, and then you guys get to be behind the scenes and just kind of filter, oh, I like this deal, I don't like this deal. So something like that has been working pretty well for the most part.
That's huge. That would, that's huge, because it gets to be a lot. I mean, Pace started the Gator thing, and there's a lot of people that are doing that, and I quickly decided that Gator was not for me. I know that what Pace was trying to do there was to get people to lend from their lines of credit, and from credit card, credit stacking, that kind of thing. But I don't know how many people actually do it that way. That is something that I haven't done. I haven't done it that way. there's just a lot of reasons, but anyway, the Gator thing, I just decided that because you still, yeah, you stand to make money in a short period of time, but you still have to vet the deal. It's still the same amount of work. You still have the paperwork. You still have to know if the deal is a deal. Otherwise you are
Julie,
putting yourself at risk, or you're putting your money at risk.
So those who don't know what Gator lender is, what is that? How is that different from a private money lender?
Oh, okay. So a Gator lender is somebody who's basically doing transactional lending, someone who's lending earnest money for someone to get into a deal, and then they're getting back, they're getting their money back quickly as soon as the deal closes. And oftentimes that same person that's borrowing from a Gator lender is also borrowing from a private money lender or a hard money lender. So that's how they can pay back the Gator lender quickly. But the point is, it's still, and a private money lender is, it's longer term generally. You're looking at 30 days to a year, or even longer in some cases. And also a private money lender there's many more ways to structure things where a private money lender could have a part of equity in a deal. There's any number of ways, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on here.
So you've got Gator lending, you've got short-term private lenders, and you've got long-term private lenders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Julie, real quick,
and some people do all three. Some people do just one thing. This depends on the person.
For sure. So Matt has a great question. He says, how does someone become a lender? I have $29,000 sitting on my Horizon Trust account, but I haven't had anyone to lend it to yet. Matt, I can certainly help you with that. But Julie, from your perspective, if somebody has, whether they've got $5,000 or $500 or $29,000, how do they take that money and become a lender? Where does that start?
Well, it starts with a relationship, first of all, like we talked about, and then it's the deal. You have to know what your time horizon is. Are you looking to do something? Because you can do short-term stuff out of your Roth, your self-directed. I'm assuming your Horizon account is self-directed IRA. I'll assume that because I also have my Roth with Horizon. So you can find someone that needs a loan. In fact, I did a loan with another sub-2 student for 1 year, and they're offering me a very nice return on that for 1 year, and I used my self-directed IRA to fund that. That money goes back into your trust. But the paperwork is the part of it. So you need a promissory note and a deed of trust. So you're taking whatever position, and I'll talk about that as part of my lending box when we get to that point. But there's some decisions that you have to make, like how long do you want to lend, things like that. But it's really not difficult to find a deal that, and you want to vet the deal, the whole thing, see what they're offering you. Does that fit in with your criteria? Are they offering you an interest rate that is acceptable to you? And then it's a matter of the paperwork. And Horizon, actually, I've worked with them, so it's simple enough to do. Your borrower sends you the note and deed of trust, and it actually goes to Horizon, and then the way it's titled is in the name of your IRA. So that part, it's really not difficult to do. It's just a matter of, and they don't have anything to say about it. That's strictly it's your call, what you want to invest in. It just the money goes to title, send it to an individual ever, or they won't. It has to be something that's a legit secured investment. So deed of trust, note and deed of trust.
There was a
So,
couple. I'm
yeah,
assuming.
I mean,
I'm assuming this individual right here. And please, guys, real quick, Chris, we had to take a screenshot so we can share it every time we see this, so that everybody knows what link we're talking about. But for those of you guys who are watching this on in a Facebook group, whether you're in Alaska or in the creative group or whatever that looks like, go into if you're watching where it's streamed. There's a description right above the video. And if you scroll down to the bottom of that description, it says, it gives you a link, and it says, click this link to allow StreamYard to share your name to Facebook or something along those lines. So we'd love to know who we're interacting with on here. So if you guys could go ahead and please allow StreamYard access to share your name, that would be super awesome. But Julie, I'm assuming this individual is when they said, what does that mean? I'm assuming they're talking about maybe some of those terms you threw out there, like deed of trust and promissory note. What are those?
Oh, okay. So when you purchase a property, you get what is called a deed of trust. And when you're borrowing, if you've ever had a mortgage, or if you haven't, the deed of trust gives you ownership in that property. So in the case of, say you got a loan from a bank, they're going to be in the first lien position on that deed of trust. So yeah, you are the owner, but then there are liens against that property, meaning there's money owed, and the security of that loan is that piece of property. So if I'm going to lend, I want to have my name as a lien holder on the deed of trust. So the title company prepares that. They go and search for any prior liens, all of that. There's a title report that comes, and then the promissory note is the terms that you and your borrower have agreed on. Those are in the note, and there's a whole bunch of things and every note can be different. The promissory note is basically the borrower is promising you these things to pay you back the money that you put in, that you've loaned them. That's what a promissory note is. So, so you want to be on the deed as a lien holder, and it's up to you whether you accept. Generally, somebody that's lending private money is going to be in the second lien position, meaning that someone else has the bigger share, whether that's the mortgage company or, the seller or something like that. Probably a mortgage holder of mortgage company. And then you'd be in the second lien position. Sometimes you'll have third lien position. I have accepted third lien position when it's a smaller amount of money generally. I don't really like third lien position, and someone's going to have to really convince me in the future to accept a third lien position. They're going to have to really pay me well, or really convince me of why I should accept a third lien position. Because if you don't understand that, that means if something happens and this property goes into default, there's two people ahead of you that get paid before you. And if there's nothing left to pay you, then you have to find some other way to get your money back. So it's a risk. It's a risk. So the reward needs to be
worth the risk.
Needs to potentially be there to get.
Absolutely.
It needs to be worth the risk. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, awesome.
So,
I don't think
so there's so many things to know, and this is what I've really learned in this. What was that?
Oh, sorry. No, I said that was awesome.
I think there's just a delay. There's just a delay on our end, I believe.
Yeah, there's like a three second delay or so.
Yeah. So let me go through. I wanted to go through, I have the 10 lending rules, and then I have an example of what my lending box is. So
perfect.
So I kind of wanted to go through this. So, I mentioned before, so number one is protect yourself and your money. And then number two is know and vet your borrower and the deal. You want to know what the ins and outs of that deal. You want to know that they know what they're doing, and they should be somebody that is known, within the group, or however you choose to vet that borrower. Mm-hmm. So the collateral must have a value that's equal to or greater than the amount that you're lending. So generally, for private money, you're probably lending for somebody to get in, like, for example, a fix and flip. You're lending them the amount that's needed. Like, they've already bought the property, they need the money to do the repair work. And then you get paid back when they actually sell the property and make the profit. You get your principal back plus whatever interest rate that you agreed. Okay, then you always want to have the promissory note, the deed of trust, and if depending on the deal, a JV agreement. JV is joint venture agreement. You want to know, like I just mentioned, you want to know what position the borrower is asking you to accept. Is that a first lien, a second lien, or a third lien position? And who is that? If it's not you, who is it? Know what their repayment exit is. Are they going to pay you monthly, quarterly, at the end? And that's something that you can negotiate. It's often more advantageous for the borrower if you agree to take your profit at the end, because the interest payments aren't that much anyway. So unless you need the cash flow, it's easier just to take it at the end, I think. I mean, that's how I see it. But if it's a longer term, then yeah, just you could choose to do it monthly or quarterly. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. Then you also want to know what is as part of vetting the deal, what is their exit strategy for this property? Are they fix and flipping it? Are they buying and holding? What are they doing with the property? Because that could play into what you're lending, how much you're lending, for how long, all of those things you want to consider. And here's one that I learned kind of the hard way. Make sure you have a late fee in there. Set a late fee, always.
Absolutely.
Set a late fee.
If we learned nothing from renting movies at Blockbuster, we should all know what a late fee means. Rip a Blockbuster.
No doubt. So, and then that goes into your promissory note. That's a item in there. Late fee of X amount. And you can decide whether you want a daily late fee, a weekly, monthly. How are you going to charge a late fee, and how much do you charge? That's up to you. What you want to, or something that you agree on with your borrower. And then another thing that I know a lot of private money lenders do is they charge points. They charge points up front. So that's basically kind of a premium. So because most borrowers want to pay you like 10% annualized. Well, that's not a lot of money. So for a lender to charge points, it's a way to basically have a little bit better return. And I know a lot of private money lenders that do charge points up front. So that's
so those that don't know, Julie,
what consideration. So those are things that points. It's basically a percentage of the loan amount. So a lot of times a point is like, I haven't done points myself. So it's essentially just a percentage. It's usually 1%. A point is 0.5%, I think, of the total loan amount. So a lot of lenders that I know will charge 2 or 3 points up front. So and basically what upfront means is that it goes on the HUD.
Yep. So more so on a hypothetical, guys. if somebody asks for 2 points, essentially they're kind of asking for $2,000. It could be like a 1-to-1 ratio more so. But or if they looking for 1 point, 1,000, 2 points, 2,000, 3 points, so on and so on, right? It all depends on whom you're lending or what that looks like. But the choice is based on the actual lender more so. Everyone's
What's
different.
a general
It's not
range,
like
Chris?
1 to 4. I was at 1 to 4, depending on the relationship, right? You got to protect your money, whatever that looks like. Some people are a little bit more riskier than others, but more so, if you're starting a new relationship, I wouldn't, extend, try to be a little bit lenient. You got to make sure that you're going to receive your investment back.
That's good to know. My freaking kids, you think I'd have a good relationship? When I go borrow $500 for earnest money for my wholesale deals for my 6-year-old, she's been charging me like 10 points, bro. Can you believe that shit? And to think that the relationship was there. I'm going to have to address her. 1 to 4, you say, is typical. Oh, we're
That's
have a conversation
her college fund.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
She's the shark.
Yeah, there you go.
Gosh dang, man, great. Something.
So
too funny.
One thing that I did before I did a lot of lending was I went and talked to a bunch of other lenders and asked these kind of questions, like, so how are you structuring your lending? What are you doing? What do you charge points? If so, how much? Because I didn't know how that really worked either, points, because I never did it before, and so it's just it's a way to make sure that you have the kind of return that you want on a deal.
Here's a good question, Julie.
And like I said up front. Oh, okay.
And Josh says, I have access to approximately $250,000. Any thoughts on where to deploy it? Should I fund deals for others or fund my own deals and pay myself back?
Wow. That's a good question. Very good question.
Wow. It really depends on your goals. I mean, do you want to own properties or do you want to get a passive return? That's kind of the question. And there's something kind of in between too. And I haven't talked about that yet. And that is that you can, I mentioned it before, you have a JV agreement. That comes into play if your borrower is offering you equity in the deal. So that's something that you want to find out from your borrower is, are they offering you equity at all? And this would be like for buy and hold people, obviously.
Can you elaborate on that? Like if
equity,
like somebody who doesn't know what that means, like if they like say there's somebody who's watching that's brand new and they got $250K, but they're not sure what taking an equity position means.
So basically, taking an equity position is part ownership. It's part ownership in the property. You would actually be on the deed of trust as one of the owners, and you have the JV agreement that spells out what your percentage or your portion of the deal is. Say somebody says, I want to offer you X percent and a 25% equity share in this property. And that means that you'll get 25% of the net rent on the property, or however you structure it. I mean, there's many ways to do it, but that's basically what an equity position is that you have a part ownership, and that can be for a period of time. That could be like for a year, 5 years. It's so flexible. I mean, it's just a matter of what does the borrower intend to do with the property? Are they going to hold it long term, keep you in it for X amount of time until you're paid back your principal plus some percentage? Do they want to leave you in it forever? I mean, there's many different scenarios, but
so if
the
there's
short
people
answer
who
is
have
that
money
equity is partial ownership.
So if there's people who have money and they want to own properties, but they're sitting here thinking like, well, first I've got to start wholesaling, and then I've got to start building all these. Like you guys don't have to do any of that. If you guys have money and you guys want to go buy properties, you can go find people who have deals who need money and go be an equity partner in those deals. If your guys' goals include buying 10 or 20 or 50 or 2 or 1 property this year, whatever that looks like for you guys, and you have money you want to deploy, you guys don't have to be the one to go out here and do all the marketing and download all the systems and talk and negotiate and get yelled at on the phone and to get doors slammed in your face. You guys don't have to do any of that. If you guys want to buy properties and you own, you have
this
money.
Is where I want to go this year, by the way. So I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, so you're wanting to be an equity partner.
There you go.
I am.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, we're getting comments on this already. Bullseye. Got it. Awesome. So Julie's one of those. And if you guys are, if you guys have money,
for the person who has, for the person who has 250,000, I'm just saying, in fact, I mean, I hear of deals all the time that I can't necessarily do. In fact, right before the show, I was on a phone call with some folks who are doing a veterans, what do they call it? It's like it's a veteran sober living home type of thing. And they've got all kinds of funding and backing and this and that, but they're trying to buy this home, and it's right around 250,000. So it's in Texas. So that was one that just came, I heard something about it on a Zoom the other day, and then I was like, wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's a neat idea for a, and the guy that's doing it is, I think he's got his act together. He's extremely passionate about it. And I think he's got his act together, and he's got lots of 501c3s and different entities that are backing him on this. So it's not some fly by night thing. So, but anyway, there's a myriad of deals out there that you can get into. It's just a matter of what you, the individual, want to get as a return. What type of, what's your passion? What, do you just want the passive income? What is it? You have to figure that part out. So
Absolutely.
that's so that's part the kind of the lending rules that to me those are the non-negotiable things that you just, and some of those are very individualized. You have to just figure that out and know what you're willing to accept and so forth.
No, thank you for sharing that. Guys,
so
allow Facebook to use your guys' name,
yeah.
or StreamYard to use your guys' name real quick so we can highlight you. We want to highlight you. If you guys need stuff, Chris and I want to put you guys' shit up here so everybody can see it, so you guys can get the resources and the things that you need. So we got an individual in the Florida market. There's their number. Not really sure who they are, though. So please, guys, go allow StreamYard. Go click on that link right above where we're streaming and allow them access to share your name. Sorry, go ahead, Julie. Take it away.
Do it. So, okay, so I wanted to talk about an example of I've come up with this, and I'm going to take full credit for it, but this is some ideas that I was kicking around with some other lenders and people in Sub 2 that, that we've talked about. We've either done private lending or some of our borrowers, but anyway, we kind of came up with this idea of, how you have a buy box, places that you want to buy, what types of properties you want to buy, and so forth, the states and communities that you want to buy in. So we came up with a lending box, which kind of is along those same lines. So, and that can be very much similar to the buy box in terms of where you might want to lend. So, and a lot of what's in my lending box is deal dependent. It really depends on what someone is asking for. So it's not hard and fast rules, or it's not set in stone. This is my lending box, and I'm not going to consider anything else. It's very deal dependent, and terms can be flexible if it's a good deal. I might say that I want 12 to 15%, but if you're bringing me an equity deal where over the long term I stand to do better than that, then yeah, I'm going to consider that. I'm not going to say, no, sorry, this is it, and that's it. So some of the things that I consider as part of my lending box is where do I want to lend? Generally, that's going to be places that I would also buy, landlord-friendly states, things like that. Communities, I probably not going to lend in. We always make fun of North Dakota, but probably not going to lend there. Just, I want to lend where.
What about Alaska, Julie? Tell me about Alaska. Give me some good news here.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, but no.
You're looking to buy some
I want to
igloos,
lend
right?
in places that I might actually buy. So. Yeah, you're gonna try and sell me some, aren't you?
I'm gonna try to sell you an igloo or two. Yeah, we'll Airbnb a couple. You know what? Fun fact, real quick though. I just found out that according to Airbnb.com, the second most what's it called?
Attraction or vacational?
No, like
vacational.
Yeah, the second highest Airbnb place in the country was Alaska in last year. First was Hawaii.
I saw that somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Igloos.
So
tree houses
for anybody
and
who's
igloos,
got
right?
some money,
Where everybody
I'm
wants
gonna
to
be
stay.
Airbnb-ing some igloos up here. If anybody wants to get in on that, let us know. Anyway, go ahead, Julie. Sorry.
Okay. So okay, where is one bullet point, and then how much capital do I have to deploy? Am I going to, and that's maybe going to be dependent on the deal. I have a maximum amount, but am I going to deploy that all into one deal, or do I want to kind of chop that up a little bit? And so how much am I lending? How long? What kind of term? For me, I think 6 months is about the max. I have done longer. That was the deal that I put my self-directed IRA in, because I figured it was a great return, and what I might as well go for it with some of that money anyway. So that was one. And then what is my interest rate? That's going to be a bit deal dependent. For most private money lenders, and I can't speak for everybody, but for many of the ones that I've talked to, you're looking at 12 to 15%. I know people say, "Oh, yeah, you can get 8 or 10%." Well, yeah, that's I don't know how to. I think 10 to 12% or 8 to 12% was good a couple of years ago, but with the nominal rates being higher, that's pushing private money rates higher as well. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely a correlation there.
So for a lot of private money lenders, what you're saying is their rates are also fluctuating with the market. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know any private money lender that's doing less than 10%. I don't know anybody that's doing less than 10%. And now mostly it's not less than 12%. Now, I don't know everybody. I don't know every private lender, and everybody, it's very individual. So, I'm not saying anything is set in stone. It's mm-hmm. just a matter of what does that person want. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, from other private money lenders that I've talked to. For sure.
So then the next thing is, and this is an important thing here, is when somebody's offering you an interest rate, you want to know, is that a simple interest rate or is that amortized? Because I'll tell you, my very first loan, I was assuming simple interest and he was assuming annualized. So that was a big difference. A big difference. A big difference. Yeah. So that deal ended up not being not that great of a deal for me because I didn't do my homework. But I learned something, and you know, I learned a couple things on that deal. I learned that I needed to have a substantial late penalty, and I needed to do a better job of negotiating my interest rate because I got it was 10%, but it was annualized, so it turned out to be not very much money for it was 90-day 3-month loan. So yeah, I had my capital out for 90 days and I got a pretty small return. I mean, it's better than a sharp stick, but you know, it's got to be worth it, you know.
What's the difference for everybody who doesn't know between annualized and simple interest?
Okay, so simple interest means, you know, if I lend you $100,000 at 10%, I'm going to get 10% back. Period.
After 12 months.
That's it. I'm going to get, you know, well, yeah. In 12 months, I would get that's simple interest. It's just a straight percentage of whatever amount that you lent. If it's annualized, it's that amount divided by 12. Oh, I'm sorry. No, simple interest. Simple interest is just, you know, if it's 100,000 and at 10%, you know, I get $10,000.
Whether that's in 30 days or 3 months or 12 months.
It's correct. And if it's annualized, then it's divided by 12 times the number of months that you've loaned, you know, so
if you
so
lend $100,000,
a lot less.
If you lend $100,000 at 10% annualized over the course, if you held that for 12 months, at the end of 12 months, you would get a full $10,000 return. But if you held it for 6 months, you'd only get $5,000, for example. Correct?
It's half. Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the simple interest is you get that percentage back regardless of how long it's being held.
Correct. Right.
Perfect. Hopefully that made sense for everybody.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, no, thank you for breaking that down. Just wanted to tie that in.
Yeah, good. I mean, I know not everybody understands that. So the other thing is, where did my brain go? The interest rate. So, okay. So you can also negotiate just a flat fee. So say somebody's going to borrow from you for 90 days. You can just say, hey, I want X dollars at the end of the 90 days, you know, and you just can negotiate a flat fee, which, you know, usually will end up being a little bit more than the whatever going rate. So you'd lend $100,000 and say for 3 months and say, I want 7,000 back. So it's more than 10% annualized, but it's not 10% simple interest. You just agree on a fee. So it's sort of like Gator in a way, that way, but you're just agreeing on what fee you want to lend your money. And you skip the percentage part. Which I have done that, and that really ends up being a little better. It just, you know, gives you a little bit more. Yeah. So let's see. Points, I talked about that. And then the other thing, I think I mentioned it already, is that what type of projects are you interested in lending on? That should be a question that you're asking. So will I lend on fix and flips? Well, I did lend on some fix and flips, and like I mentioned, I got burned a little bit on that. And that's where you really want to have late fees built in there, because you have to remember, it's not just that you're getting your money back late and you're eventually going to get it and you're going to get, whatever interest back, but you have to remember that you have lost opportunity costs. While this money is out and it's coming back to me late, how many deals did I have to turn down because my capital isn't back? That's lost opportunity. That's
absolutely
potentially money that I'll never get that opportunity back. So you can't account for that, except unless you put something up front saying, you're going to have to pay me a late fee. So that sort of makes up for it, but not entirely. So lost opportunity cost is something that you really want to think about. Then another item is the equity share. We talked about that a little bit already. Is the borrower offering me an equity share? Is that part of their business model, that they want to JV with people and have everybody get a return because they're scaling? They have enough profit coming in that they can do that they can offer you an equity position. Talked a little bit already about documents, what documents to require. Always promissory note, a deed of trust, and a JV agreement as needed.
That's very
it's
essential,
probably
guys.
good to just have one anyway, a JV agreement.
Yeah, never do a verbal. Never do a verbal. Always make sure it's document, and it's a secure promissory note, not just a standard promissory note, but a secure promissory note. It's very, very different from. But if don't ever do a verbal, that's you just setting yourself up for failure.
Sorry, I'm gonna let my kids rewatch this.
Yeah,
this ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
that's what I make
no
sure
handshake deals.
Very clear. No handshake deals at all.
Spell it out.
Yeah.
No handshake. Not even with Dad.
Yeah.
Dad's getting his money back.
That's good. So, and then I also mentioned this is what security am I requiring? What lien position am I willing to accept? Am I going to accept a second or a third lien position? That's very much up to the lender, what they're willing to accept. And then another thing that's kind of in there as far as the promissory note and the deed of trust is especially if it's a longer term deal, if it's a year or something like that, or especially a JV, is to be on the insurance policy. You need to have to be insured on that, be an additional insured, so that if something happens to that property, that you're not just SOL. So, and that you may or you may not want to require that. That's just something that is something to consider. And then I also mentioned late penalties. Do you want to do a weekly, a daily, whatever? How much after the due date is something? You want to make it substantial enough that someone's not going to want to be late, but you also don't want to kill the deal by not being a little bit flexible. And that, again, that's up to you. What's a little bit flexible?
Right.
Sometimes you don't have much choice, but I have a situation right now. For example, I was supposed to have my capital back around the 1st of December, and I still don't have it back. And there's like a $50 a day late fee that the borrower signed onto. But I should be in it. I have to go back and check my documents because I think one of the things says second lien position and the other one says third lien position. So I'm not really, not sure on that one, but still doesn't matter. The point is you know, the late fees are racking up, and you know, this borrower has some unfortunate situations, and I'm probably not going to be too much of a hard ass. I am going to require some late payment, but I'm probably not going to, you know, beat them up too bad over it just because there's some circumstances. So, but you know what? You don't have to be. You don't have to be nice. It's your money. You know?
Right.
Rule number 1: protect yourself and your money. So, just saying.
There you go.
Just saying. And then the lastly would be like, how are you going to collect those overdue payments and so forth? You know, you need to have a plan in place. Should something happen, you need to know what steps to take. You need to actually file a lien on the property if you think you're not going to get it back, or if it's taking longer than you think it should. You need to be prepared to go get it. You know, you might go to your borrower and say, hey, since you're not able to pay this, why don't you give me a percentage of equity in this property instead? You know, I mean, I'm just throwing some things out there, but
you answered it.
You definitely want to have an idea in mind.
You just answered it.
Mm. Could the late fee?
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Especially, I mean, in this case of this particular property, it was a fix and flip, and the buyer backed out at the last minute, and so it was like they were kind of stuck with this property that they were going to sell, and it didn't sell. So
it was a wholesaler that contracted it at ARV. Couldn't find a buyer for it. Imagine that. No, I'm just kidding.
Go figure. So then the insurance. Let's see, other questions. So you really want someone to present the deal to you very clearly. You know, that you really want someone to break it down for you and tell you what is their plan for the property? What are they going to do with your money in this deal? Are they using it to buy the deal? Are they using it to rehab? Are they using it for what? You need to know that just up front, and get them to send you their deal breakdown. You know, don't just jump on a call and they go, oh yeah, blah blah blah, I got this and I'm going to do that. No. Just get it in writing. Get it in writing.
Absolutely.
Get them to show you what they're doing. Get on a Zoom. Get them to get the whiteboard out or whatever and show you the property. Have them send you pictures. Give you the address so you can look at it yourself. You can look it up or whatever. You know, if you're gonna put your money in something, you dang well should have the opportunity to see what it is. You know, if they're not willing to show you that, or if they think that, you know, that you're somehow going to go try and buy it out from under them or something, then hell with it. You know, there's somebody else that you can have a relationship with. I mean, if that's going to be the case, then, you know, where there is no relationship, first of all. So, yeah. So
when you're lending,
yeah, I mean,
let's
the person
say
really
you
should
lend for
be
like
able
6
to
months.
explain the deal clearly.
If you lend for 6 months, are you like as a lender, are you like, hey, I would love just kind of an update status on where you are at the 3-month mark and at the 5-month mark, and let me know where we are at 6-month mark? Or are you just kind of like, do you look over the deal and then you're like, all right, this sounds good, I like the deal, here's my money, I'll see you in 6 months? Like what do you like? How involved do you like to be in things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up because I think especially if it's a first time that you're doing a deal with somebody, definitely there's a comfort level with having somebody give you that information. And especially when it's coming back close to time that the funds are supposed to be back to you, you want that borrower keeping you in the loop. There is nothing worse than having to chase them down, and I've had to do it, and it's not it's not a good feeling. And when you're having to call, and I mean, I get it. When stuff goes wrong, it's uncomfortable to have to say, I'm sorry, I can't pay you right now. I get that. I understand. But don't keep me in the dark. I ain't a mushroom. Don't keep me in the dark. But I just really appreciate I really appreciate just knowing what's going on. And like I said, if it's a first loan, yeah, and it's 6 months, yeah, it would be great to have a little update. How's it going? How's the project going? Is it going according to schedule? Are you happy with how it's going? Stuff like that. That just doesn't take long to do that, to update somebody. And just, I think most lenders would appreciate that. Some may just go, just send me the check. But I think most people, if they're lending their own money, they're certainly interested in where it's at.
So no, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more, because more so, even Jesse and I, we actually just finished a fix and flip right over in Alaska. One of our lenders on that, he wanted to be extremely hands off. He didn't really want to know much about it, but more so, Jesse and I and our other business partner, we still kept them updated. More so, like send them pictures of the before and after. We're going to list it this day, the clean outs this day, whatever that looked like. He really didn't want, he didn't want to be updated, but we felt like it was our obligation to actually make him aware what was happening. And I think if you're like ahead of the game, more so specifically, especially when you have somebody else's money, communication is everything. I personally want to feel comfortable going 6 months or even 12 months not communicating about that specific project with not speaking to my lender in a year, and I have their money. I don't think that's right, in my opinion. So and again, every lender is a little bit different. A lot of people like to be hands-on, a lot of people like to be hands-off. It all just, that kind of gears back to the relationship part, but understand exactly your lender, what's your expectations from your lender.
Expectations, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That's huge. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, once again, is the relationship. Transparency, yeah. Transparency, for sure. That's how you're going to keep that relationship going and be able to do business with that person going forward. And have that person say, hey, yeah, these guys are great to work with, because they take care of the details, they keep you updated. You could recommend your friends to go lend to somebody. Lend your money to Jesse and Chris.
Julie, let me ask you, do you, from a lender's perspective, do you also lend on like syndications? Or are you
I'm glad you asked that.
niche?
Yes. No, I'm glad you asked that, because actually one of the first things that I did lending wise was I loaned on it's not really it's a loan, but syndication, yeah, it's sort of a loan, it's an investment, whatever you want to call it from the SEC standpoint. But it's you're getting into a deal for longer term. So what I did was I used some of my self-directed IRA, and I invested into a multifamily deal with Pace and Vina back last summer. That was one of the first multifamilies that Pace did. It was that one in North Carolina.
Yep.
So I used some of my self-directed IRA to get into that deal. So yeah, you definitely can do things like that, and those are more they're a little bit longer term, and you get a you know up front what your basic rate is going to be. They hope to return a little bit more to you than they say that's in the documents that you sign. They want to give you a little more than that. They want to under promise and over deliver. So in those cases, you're generally getting like a quarterly payment for so many years until they refinance. And when they refinance, they return your principal. And then you may or may not stay in the deal. It kind of depends on how the documents are, where the PPM is worded. I'm considering a deal right now where it's also a syndication. Syndication, if you don't know what that is, that's just a group of investors going together and putting larger sums into larger deals. That's basically what a syndication is. It's a fund. But the one I was considering is one that's a little bit longer term. And what their plan is to refi at 6 years. You'll be getting returns all along. Each year you'll get a return, and then at year 6 they'll refinance, but you get to stay in the deal and continue with your returns up until 10 years. And at that time they'll either sell the property or they'll just keep it and keep providing returns. So they've talked about keeping that one because it's a Class A property. It's a brand new build, and they figure, they've got a pretty good time horizon to make returns off of that without having a lot of capital expenditure on it. So syndication is definitely a good place to park money, and can be some good returns. You just have to look at what the numbers are and whether that fits your needs for returns.
Amazing. Julie, let me ask you something. In the time that you've been a private lender, for all the people that have been reaching out to you, what would you say is like maybe the biggest misconception or like the biggest common myth when it comes to lending? Is there anything that you keep seeing that you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, no, this is not true at all, or this is not how this works at all? Is there anything that stands out that just kind of seems to be a common myth or misconception when it comes to lenders or lending money?
Well, I think people don't really understand that each lender is different, and has different goals and different amounts of capital to lend. I think there's this thought that, well, you just have the money, and granted, people who are lending from lines of credit and things like that maybe do have potentially more money to lend. But just the idea that you have sort of an unlimited amount of money that you can lend, and that anybody who brings you a deal is going to get a loan. That's, I think, because I get that and just the whole, hey, I heard you're a private money lender, I've got this deal over here. Those two things. So you're a private money lender, so let me just hand it over. That's the kind of thing. I guess it's just a lack of understanding the relationship, and that you have to build one, and then understanding who that is, who you are as the borrower and who the lender is as the lender. So,
I can
sometimes
see,
it's not a good fit. I mean, obviously, like I said. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, just as you were explaining that, you were like, well, it's not, the expectation isn't that I just have like unlimited funds here. And I just thought of that scene off of Dumb and Dumber at the very end when he goes to open the briefcase and it's got a shit ton of IOUs in there. He's like, that's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. Go ahead and add it up. So IOUs does not work for currency for you, Julie. I just want to let me clarify that. Let me dispel that myth right here and right now, since we're talking about myths. IOUs do not work, fam.
Show me the money.
If somebody wants to be a lender, let's see, because we got a lot of people in here. We've had a lot of great questions. Thank you guys very much for being here and for asking these questions. You guys have some fantastic questions. We're getting ready to wrap up here. Probably have about another 10 minutes or so. So if you guys have anything that you're just dying to know or anything you want to ask specifically, or if you guys have deals or something, like I said, let Chris and I highlight you. Let us throw you guys up here. But if Julie, real quick, if somebody wants to start lending on Monday, what is step one, do you think? Where should they start in terms of just maybe learning about it, protecting themselves, building that relationship? Like what is step one?
Well, you can, I'd say, make it known that you're a private money lender, and that you, how would I say it? I think for the first and foremost, you really need to sit down and, kind of run through some of the things that I've talked about, like what is your lending box? Answer those questions for yourself. And then at least you have something when someone says, hey, I heard you're a private money lender. Then you can say, okay, well, let's have a conversation. But just to basically put it out there, maybe just contact a few people who you see in the group that are doing deals, and you see people that are looking for private money. You can contact them first. I think I have a little bit of discomfort with saying just put it out in the group, because that's really not the way to go about it, really. I mean, like I put on my name when I'm in the Zooms. It'll say PML, and I know Pace brings it up because I have loaned to him. And why do I loan to Pace? Because I know, like, and trust him. If he was some guy off the street, I probably wouldn't be lending to him. But yeah, I mean, so look for people inside your groups that you see are consistently doing deals, and approach them and say, hey, you guys look like you know what you're doing. Are you ever in the market for some private money lending? Because I would like to work with someone like you that needs private money for their deals. And that's how I would go about it. And then you start to build that relationship. So you have the money, and you've gone to someone that you think has a reputation. And that doesn't mean you necessarily have to lend to them, but you can approach them and see if they're a good fit. So that's what I would do, is sit, be honest with myself as to how much money do I have, and then all those questions, where do I lend, what types of projects, those kind of things, so that when somebody does come to you, or when you go to them, you can say, these are the kind of things I lend on. This is my lending box.
Perfect.
Generally.
Beautiful.
So.
Beautiful.
Does that help?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, that gives everybody action steps. If this is something you guys are wanting to do, step one, you've already got it. Go out there and start letting people know what it is you're wanting to do. Start building relationships. Start talking with people. Rebels Haven, Alaska. Dude, this is my buddy Joe, dude. Him and I joined the Air Force together in 2009, man. I got some pictures of us going way back. What is the minimum dollar amount to be considered a lender? Well, if you ask my kids, it's $100.
They're $100. 50 cents.
There you go.
I don't think there is a minimum, honestly. $1.298.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think there is a minimum amount. I mean, I think if you have, so I think a lot of people that do the gator lending, which again I see as being very different than private money lending, you can lend $5,000 or $10,000. I think for bigger projects, most people that are doing either buy and holds or fix and flips are looking for a little bit more. You're looking at maybe 25 to and up. But I honestly, I don't think there's a minimum amount. It's a matter of finding, you know how much you would like to lend, and you can like go to somebody like Jesse and Chris and say, hey, I'd like to work with you guys. This is what I have. Do you have any projects that would fit with the money that I have to lend right now? And then you can start to build your capital, and then you can lend on larger deals going from there. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's necessarily any minimum.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't think there's a set dollar amount to become an actual lender.
Start with your kids, guys. Turn your kids into lenders. Start borrowing money from them.
No doubt.
Yeah, I agree with Facebook
That's
user.
great. And pay your kids too.
It's definitely easier said than done. More so, just just don't go out there just trying to give your money away. Just as Julie stated earlier, it starts with the relationship. Understand exactly what their goal is or what their ultimate objective to do with your money, right? If I call somebody and say I need $15,000, I expect that person to ask me when they're going to get it back. What do you need it for? And whatever that may look like. Because specifically, if somebody called me and asked me for 20 grand, I'm going to ask questions. I'm not going to say, okay, no problem. Let me just send it right over to you. Not at all. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a list of questions,
Right.
a checklist along that. And then one, it's not going to go directly to you. It's actually going to go through an escrow title company or attorney. And that's very essential. Make sure the money is.
And that is
Chris, that is pivotal right
I'm
there,
glad
bro.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that, because this is like the other rule number one, and it goes along with protecting your money. Never, ever, 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 ever send your money anywhere but to title.
Absolutely.
Don't send it to somebody's bank account. Ever. Never. And if somebody's trying to give you a story about, well, blah, blah, this or that, just like, bye-bye.
Run. Just run. That's like,
yeah.
So no back alley suitcase, cash exchanges, no nothing like that.
I owe you.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool. No, I think that was awesome. Great piece of advice right there. Because I think a lot of people, man, they're like, hey, I need
for sure
30 grand or 10 grand or whatever. Here's my bank account information.
Yeah.
Bad news, bro.
Yeah, just be very, very careful.
Bye-bye.
You just know,
delete.
You get a couple exactly to delete real quick, but you get a couple people that really try to do that, and just be careful. Just don't give money to anyone. Just please vet them. I know Jesse and I are very good at vetting people, and more so working with individuals we want to work with. As Julie said, you got to like them, you got to trust them, you got to want to work with them more so. And transparently, like I said last night when we was in our pre-show meeting, if I should say, we don't work with everyone. A lot of people want to lend to us, but at the same time, we have to get to know you. It just we just not going to take money from anyone. So, and I do want to put a staple on something as well, as far as documentation. Make sure paperwork is correct. If you're a lender out there, make sure your paperwork is correct. There are TCs that can help you with that specific paperwork, whatever that may look like, especially within sub 2. You can utilize our company. You can utilize Caleb Christopher's company. There's Love Francis. We all have TCs that are experienced and know how to structure it properly. So sometimes you do got to spend a little bit of money to
there's
to make
a
sure
bunch of really good TCs in the group.
100%. I can go down a list of a bunch
absolutely.
of them, and they're amazing.
So the person that said,
go ahead.
Yeah, there's some really good ones in the group. But what I was going to, the person that said easier said than done, it really isn't that difficult. That it's just very much about the relationship. Honestly, it's just that. And I've kind of learned that the hard way a bit. maybe a lot. But I've loaned to people that I do like them. I probably didn't know them as well as I should have. I maybe didn't vet them as well as I should have. Just because someone is in sub 2 does not necessarily mean that you should do deals with them. You need to have that credibility piece, and you need to know that you need to educate yourself in sort of what's a good deal. And if you don't know, heck, there's people that can help you with that. You know, I mean, if someone brings me a deal and I'm like, well, it sounds really good, but I'm not sure, I'm going to call somebody that I trust and go, hey,
Right.
guys, does this sound like a good deal to you? Can you help me with this a bit? Would you, could you take a quick look at this and tell me if I'm, understanding this right? So, there's no need to feel like you're out there all alone and, someone brings you a deal and you're just like, that sounds like a good deal, but I don't really know. Ask somebody.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just.
Whoops, sorry,
Yeah,
Chris. We clicked on that at the same time. Yeah, no. As with anything, guys, you guys, you don't have to do this on your own, and nor should you.
My friends.
Nor should you. So going back to what we were kind of talking about earlier, like if would you guys agree, Chris and Julie, that probably the main overarching theme of this entire thing, and I'm so glad this is recorded because there's so many great nuggets to go back and reference and make sure, okay, make sure I've got terms and everything right, and my debt is secured, and knowing all these different terms. So there's so many great nuggets that were dropped in here today. I really appreciate it, Julie. But I would say a main overarching theme to this entire
welcome.
conversation
You're
over
welcome.
the last hour and
I've really
a half.
wanted to talk about this for a while, so this is.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. This is fantastic. I'm glad that we were able to do this, and I would love to continue doing this.
Yeah,
sorry, there's like
sure.
a 3-second lag or
for sure
5-second lag or whatever it is.
I know. It's a long way from Alaska.
Eric hit the nail on the head, though. The power of relationships. The relationships is the entire overarching theme here, guys. So if there's some key takeaways here, it would be if your Facebook profile is of an animal or anything except you, and you're planning on building a professional relationship with somebody, that's not going to hack it. Like Julie said, Chris and I do the same thing. If you send either one of us a friend request and it has a picture of anything else but you on there, delete. We love you, but we just want people who are serious in what it is they're trying to do and how they present themselves in all facets, not just in person. I think what people post on social media is so important. I mean, we were talking about vetting relationships, right, Julie? That's one of the first things I do. I start going down people's Facebook. If they start getting posting some dumb shit in there, or if they are criticizing, condemning, or complaining, I want nothing to do with those individuals.
Agree.
And it's crazy what people will put out there on their social media. Super, super easy. But it starts with your Facebook profile picture. So if you guys have anything except you on there, that needs to be changed if you're wanting to build high-level and serious relationships with people. Number 2, IOUs.
Yep.
I don't know if we came to a clear conclusion on that, but I'm going to lean in and say that is not currency. That's not going to suffice with a PML. Julie, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you got that.
So no
one.
IOUs. Okay, and then
hey, there's one little thing. One little
go ahead.
thing that I want to. Okay, go ahead. Oh, okay. There was one thing that I wanted to throw out here that I came up against, and I didn't mention it earlier. Is I had a loan that I did in my Roth self-directed IRA, and it was with another sub 2 student, and they offered me a really, really good interest rate for 1 year. I think it was like 20%. Well, one thing that when we went to record the documents, the state in which we were doing the transaction has a usury law, And that means that they could not pay me the 20% because their state law said that 18 was the maximum. So, so know that little nugget, put that in the back of your mind. Know the usury law in the state in which you're going to lend, because there's ways around it. I mean, we came to an agreement where they can only pay me 18% on that money that I'm lending, but they're going to make up the other 2% outside of that. So, and they're still going to pay me that. We just couldn't put it in that document for the transaction.
What was the what was the total amount on that that you lent?
For the remainder,
if you don't mind me asking,
of that
for the 18%? Do you
I'm
recall?
sorry. What was it?
What was the
I didn't hear your question.
So they wouldn't let you go over 18%.
Yeah, because
right?
the state law. So when we went to record it,
I'm just trying to think outside the box here. Like this is probably like way off, but like if you let's say you were lending 20 grand or whatever, and they're not letting you go above 18%, could you lend 10 grand at 10% each, like 10 grand in two separate transactions at 10% each? Like, is that something
I think you could do that. There's, like I said, there's ways around it. Yeah, there's ways around it. We managed to find a way to do it. We did 18% for the main amount, and then the other 2% would be paid as outside of the transaction. I mean,
gotcha.
Outside of that, I don't know how to describe it, but anyway, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it could have been done as two. It kind of makes it a little more messy to do it that way if you're trying to do one transaction, but it's just something to be aware of. So if someone offers you, hey, I'm going to pay 25%, you better know what the usury laws are in that state, because it may not work for that transaction, and you may have to do some adjustments so that you can accept what they're offering you, but you just have to get paid a different way.
Got it. Interesting. You can get creative in so many different faucets other than just buying a house.
For sure.
All right, guys.
For sure.
Step one: get off this Zoom, get off this show, and go create a Calendly link right now. I'm actually surprised that nobody created a Calendly link and started posting it in the comments. At least I didn't see anybody do that. That would have been something that I would have done. I would have created a Calendly during this and then just started posting that link in the comments and had just started filling up that Calendly for next week. Start doing what Julie is talking about in building those relationships. And if you spend some time and you're consistent doing that, you're gonna get money. You're gonna find people that need help with deals. You're going to find people to make money with, in so many different faucets. But you have to take the time to put the effort into building those relationships, and it's something you got to stay consistent with. If you guys have an hour a day, and you can break it up however you want to into 2 30-minute different segments, maybe one in the morning, one in the afternoon, whatever that looks like. Do it and make it Monday through Friday. So you're talking to 2 new people every single day. And guys, remember, when you're building relationships, don't be interested or don't be in what's the saying? Be interested, not interesting.
Don't be. Yeah.
Find out and lead with value.
Yeah.
Service. What is it the other person needs? And regardless, don't go in there with any expectation other than just to lead with value. See where you can help. And just start building relationships, guys. Where do I go to make this counting link? It's not a counting link. It's Calendly. Like calendar, except it's Calendly. You can download the app. They have an app, CALANDELY or something like that. CALEND. I'm terrible. Whatever. Calendly though. Calendly. Anyway, Julie, where can people reach out to you? What's a good way to get a hold of you if they need money? They want to start building a relationship with you. How can they start working with you?
They can reach out to me on Messenger. You can DM me, and I'll get back to you. Usually people just DM me through mostly through Facebook, or if you see my phone number on the Zoom, you can always just send me a text. That's better. That way then I have it so I can get, and make sure you put your name on there too, because I get tons of numbers that I have no idea where the phone number is coming from. So
please put your name in there.
It really is. Put your name in there.
Put your name in there.
I wonder if she is watching right now. I want to read you guys something really quick. I'm gonna block out their name, but this stood out to me. Chris and I had a meeting with an individual. Was it yesterday morning? I think it was yesterday morning. And Chris and I turned our Calendly off right now from having conversations with having one-on-ones basically with other people right now, just because we're just pivoting in our business right now, so we just don't have time to do that. But it's something we're going to turn back on. However, that being said, I want to share something with you guys because we had an individual reach out to us over Messenger, and it stood out from literally how 99% of the people reach out to Chris and I, and probably Julie as well. I would venture a guess. Most people reach out to Chris and I, and they don't even introduce themselves. They say, hey, I'm a wholesaler. I need some help. Can you jump on a call? Like there's that entitlement there. Like, wait, what? Excuse me? Like we all don't have stuff going on. But I want to read you again. I'm going to omit their name, but I'm just going to read you what they sent Chris and I. And so I knew immediately. I was like, dude, we're hopping on a phone with this person. But it says, hi, Jesse and Chris. My name is blank, and I'm new to the Creative Finance Group. I was just listening to your call today and just wanted to thank you for hosting and sharing your personal experiences and your insight. Truly appreciate what you both are doing, especially for a newbie like me just getting started in real estate. I'm not a sub-2 student yet, but I'd love to offer newbie help to anyone you guys might know. Like Jesse suggested, I'm looking for ways to contribute and add value in exchange for experience and an education. I'm based in Raleigh, North Carolina. I got my LLC set up and signed up for Privy 2 days ago, and I registered for Pace's Elephant Challenge at the end of the month. My avatars are direct to seller, direct to agent, connector, and willing to work for someone. My focus is on wholesaling to begin and buy and hold for myself within 12 months. I'm happy to hop on a Zoom and meet you guys to get better acquainted. Please feel free to let me know if you're up for that and what works best for your schedule. Thank you again, guys. I appreciate the guidance you're putting out there and look forward to connecting and learning from you, learning more from your show. Cheers. Wow. Awesome. What a way to introduce yourself to somebody. Nothing more than just saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do. These are my avatars. I just want to help people. I'd love to connect with you guys and see if I can help you guys. Do you guys maybe know somebody? Like I'm willing to go work for somebody for experience and an education. This is where I'm based out of. This is what I'm trying to do. How can I best serve you? I thought, wow. That was a phenomenal introduction. I guarantee you guys, if you guys can do something to that extent when you're reaching out to people, wow. Relationships, guys. Right. Well, I don't have anything else. Julie, thank you very much for being on here. This is phenomenal. We've gotten so many great feedback. We have so many great comments. Chris, do you have anything that you would like to add, or Julie, do you have anything you guys would like to add before we cut it?
No, I don't have anything else.
No, I think we
just
covered
thank everyone
a lot.
for being us. Julie, you're freaking amazing as always. Guys, just always protect your money, whatever that may look like. Paperwork and the borrower. Just please protect your investment. Never do a handshake. That is the key. And also make sure you vet whom you're working with.
Love it. Appreciate you, Julie. Thank you.
It took
we
us
love you.
2 hours to get to that. So yeah, I'd love to help. I mean, I felt for a long time that I really needed to contribute something back to Sub 2 because I've met so many amazing people, including yourselves, and there's been so many people that have just kind of helped prop me up and helped me with so many things, and so this was a way for me to give back something, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. No, we appreciate you. We love you. You're an amazing individual. We're very humbled and grateful of our friendship that we have, and we're looking forward to doing some awesome stuff with you this year. So thanks again for spending some of your time. I know we held you hostage for almost 2 hours today. So love it. Well, you guys enjoyed the rest of your Saturday. Please reach out to Julie, guys. Get to know her. She's an amazing individual. She's got money that she wants to lend. Let's go. You guys have a good one.